These are all very important questions. Hey everybody, I'm Amber, a disabled gal, here to reveal or remind you that you're complete in Jesus Christ alone. Marriage. What is it? And a better question, who defines it? Who has authority over it? Many people view marriage as a contract and not a covenant. Now, what's the difference between a contract and a covenant? A contract is an agreement between two or more parties to do or not do something. A covenant is similar, but there's a very important distinction. A contract is not seen as immoral to break. There may be consequences for breaking a contract, however, it's not an immoral act to do so. A covenant, on the other hand, is immoral to break. So on top of there being consequences, it's also immoral. The God of the Bible is a covenant-keeping God. God never breaks his covenants. Marriage is actually supposed to be a reflection of his covenant with us. The husband in a marriage represents Jesus, and the wife represents the church. That's why marriage is defined as between a man and a woman, because it reflects that covenant. Anything outside of one man and one woman does not represent that covenant. For example, 3 women and 1 man cannot represent that covenant. So what is the problem with seeing marriage as just a contract? Well, the problem is it's not seen as wrong to break that contract. There's even a thing called no-fault divorce, where you don't even have to show evidence that your spouse did anything wrong. Our authorities have attempted to redefine marriage where it is simply a contract. Their definition of marriage is definitely not a covenant between Christ and the church. It's not a reflection of that anymore. Their definition of marriage now is a contract between almost whoever. So it doesn't surprise me that many people view marriage as simply a contract, because that's how our government defines it. And as the church, we're saying you have to have this contract in order to prove you have a covenant. Essentially, you have to treat this smelly, rotten piece of garbage as if it's a fine delicacy. You have to treat this flimsy, what does it even mean, contract as if it's a covenant. And we as the church wonder why so many people view marriage as just a contract. Now, before you get too upset with me, I want to say this. I do know that there are a large amount of people who are simply cohabitating and they're not interested in commitment, and maybe they're in and out of each other's lives, and it's just kind of a chaotic mess. But then on the flip side, I also see a group of faithful, Bible-believing Christians who are questioning who should have authority over marriage. They are seeing the tragedy that has resulted from our governing authorities having authority over marriage. And these genuine believers are questioning whether that's a good thing. I do see where other believers are coming from, saying, hey, look, Romans 13 and 1 Peter chapter 2 talks about submitting to authority. However, I think these well-meaning believers are doing some eisegesis and reading their own present-day cultural whatever into the text. Since marriage is such a valuable and sacred thing to God that God instituted, by the way, and since the Bible did not explicitly pass that authority over marriage to the government, I think it's safe to say here that some Christians will have different convictions on this. I don't think it's appropriate to suggest that everybody who has a different conviction on this is some sort of adulterer or adulteress. At the end of the day, I think some Christians are very statist in their thinking, and they're actually unknowingly saying, you know what, the government actually has the power to decide who is and who isn't married. That, my friends, I don't think is the intention of Romans 13 or 1 Peter chapter 2. If that was true, then there are many godly marriages that exist today that couldn't have existed in our recent history because they are different ethnicities. Devin, do you think marriage is different than, say, like a driver's license or a fishing license?
Yes. You want to know why?
Why?
Because God instituted marriage in Genesis chapter 1.
And he didn't institute those other things?
No.
Now, I'm not saying that this contract issue is the only reason we're seeing marriage problems. However, I do think it would be dishonest to say it has not played a role. If I had the power to get marriage out of the government's business, I would. This is a topic that most people have a very strong opinion about, but I hope I don't know, maybe presented some ideas that you didn't think about. The key takeaway here is please don't lump these two groups of people together. The group of people that's saying they don't want to commit versus the other group of people that's saying we think so highly of marriage that we're reconsidering, the government involvement. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was edifying to you. And thank you so much to my supporters. You guys really are a huge, huge blessing to this channel. And God bless.
The video you just saw was made by Fallible Christians.
Although we diligently seek to represent the God of the Bible accurately, please understand that we are still being sanctified.
For absolute truth, please refer to the Bible.